people are thinking about whether or not the viruses are going to cause people to get very sick. And I'm going to tell you, one of the things that I hadn't really talked much about, and that is this hand sanitizer. A lot of people are going crazy about getting it, but let me just say this. Hand sanitizer isn't always the best thing for you. The reason being is hand sanitizer has a lot of endocrine disruptors in it. It can actually affect your hormones. So, and it can also lower your propensity to fight off bacteria. So for instance, and viruses. So for instance, you have people who are using hand sanitizer excessively when they should be just using soap and water. Before we had hand sanitizer, we had soap and we had water. Why now choose something different? Well, you know, that's the way of the world. So we have people that are using those things and they don't realize that there's triclosan inside of hand sanitizer. Now, here's something that you guys do need to know in terms of how viruses and bacteria spread. Let me tell you. Let me kind of step back a little so y'all can see the entire screen. Bacteria are single cell prokaryotic microorganisms that exist in abundance. So in other words, they have to have a living host like soil and water. Now, by nature, they can be good and bad. Okay. So a lot of people tend to think that bacteria is a bad thing. Not necessarily. Okay. Because we do need the good and the bad. For instance, when you eat yogurt, you will see that yogurt is oftentimes considered to be something good to eat because it has those good bacteria that you need in order to treat, let's say, your gut health. A lot of health gurus have been talking about getting access to probiotics because of the organisms that are inside, that living bacteria that's inside of it. So that's one thing I can tell you that's been a good thing to kind of eat in terms of your probiotics. Yogurt, but also a probiotic, capsules that you can get from any drugstore or a vitamin store. Now, a virus, which is what you've been hearing a lot of here lately. A virus is a cell, okay, cell that has no cell structure, but it requires a living host to survive. So you've probably been seeing all this noise about how this coronavirus even came to be. Some people are saying that this girl was actually eating a bat over in China, and then that's what caused us to kind of go sporadic when it comes to how the coronavirus spread. People have been eating animals forever and a day, but why you want to eat a bat, I don't know, because bats do contain rabies, and even though they do kill it to cook it, some of those organisms will still live in the body. Okay. So just like certain animals that people consume, if the animal has cancer and they slaughter the animals for consumption, you best believe that's going to also go into your body. So even though they may cut out that so-called cyst on that animal, or they may cut out the tumor that's on the animal, you can best believe you're still going to get some type of illness from that. Okay. Because remember, whatever you eat, it goes into you as well. Bacteria are alive. And while scientists are not sure yet if viruses are living or non-living, they are considered to be non-living overall. Now, bacteria, as I mentioned to you before, they can survive in extreme conditions like cold or hot. So all these people talking about whether or not this virus is going to leave us when the summertime hits. Well, remember, viruses and bacteria can live in all kinds of conditions. Again, in this case of bacteria, they need to find a host like your intestines. This is where people get sick sometimes. And although most bacteria doesn't cause any harm to people, there are some exceptions like strep throat. Well, let me back up on that. Strep throat can cause harm because you can get sick. I've had strep throat before, and because I deal with so many kids on a daily basis, it depends on your immune system. And so previously, when I wasn't taking that seriously, I was more prone to get certain things. And so teachers oftentimes take a lot of vitamin C to make sure they don't get sick or limit their ability to get sick. Urinary tract infections are also something that's very prominent for people to get sick by as well. Okay. Now, if you have inappropriate uses of these antibiotics, it helps to create bacterial diseases that are resistant to treatment. So here's another thing you can think about. When MRSA came out, MRSA is often identified in hospitals, okay? MRSA is very, very contagious. But when you have doctors giving you like penicillin, that doesn't work, okay? Because MRSA is what we call a superbug. And as a result of it being a superbug, you now have doctors trying to come up with so many medications to beat this resistance, okay? So this is why these doctors are trying to figure out what can we do to help prevent the spread of the coronavirus, for instance, because you got to know what you're dealing with, okay? In terms of whether or not it's bacterial infections or viral infections, because the two are different. Now, viruses are even smaller than bacteria, but they, like I said before, they do require a host, like people, plants, or animals. Okay, so let me kind of go through that with you all, for instance, okay? Now, if we consider when a virus enters your body, you know it invades some of your cells and it takes over certain parts of your body. And as a result, it can cause things like chickenpox, the common cold. Now, AIDS, let me talk about AIDS for a second. AIDS is the acronym for autoimmunodeficiency syndrome, and that typically says that your immune system is being attacked. Now, check this out. Some of the reports have been saying that some of these doctors are figuring out that this virus is similar to AIDS, and that some of the things that you may see underground has indicated that some of the scientists who created this virus actually put some other cells, namely the AIDS virus, inside of this coronavirus. So it's replicating in ways they did not know was possible. That's not good at all. Now, in some cases, it may be difficult to determine whether or not you have a bacterial infection or a virus infection, because again, a lot of these things such as pneumonia, meningitis, and diarrhea can be caused by either bacteria or viruses. Okay. So that's why you got to know what you're working with and dealing with in order to know the treatment. For instance, I know that some of the doctors have said maybe we can use chloroquine, which I know President Trump talked about too, but that is not necessarily a good thing either. Okay. So again, some examples of bacterial infections include like whooping cough, strep throat, ear infections. Some examples of viral infections are like the common cold, the flu, coughs, bronchitis. Okay. Now, some do attack the blood, which is a bad thing. If it attacks the blood, that means it can go to your respiratory system. And if it goes to your respiratory system, it can target things like the liver and other parts of your organs. So again, we have to be very, very cautious when we're out here in the environment. Bacteria, viruses can be transferred through pretty much anything. The air, those little microbes can actually linger in the air. Bodily fluids. So somebody drinking water and you drink from their water bottle, you might not want to do that. They can harbor even on the surface. Okay. Now you're probably wondering, well, what are parasites? Like, can bats contain parasites? Since that seems to be some of the issues that a lot of people are talking about. Well, again, parasites need a host to survive. And using this and other living things for shelter and food, many parasites don't negatively affect their host, but a handful can produce toxins that make the host sick. So in other words, if you get a parasite on you, okay, you may not even know that that's affecting you until it's too late. Okay. Parasites can encompass certain types of bacteria and viruses. All viruses exhibit parasitic characteristics. And again, that's why this is very, very confusing, very confusing. Now, I want to go ahead and show you guys an experiment, okay, that I'm going to do so you all can kind of see this. Okay, so let me kind of go through an example with you all so you'll know exactly how parasites work, okay, and viruses and bacteria. Now, for instance, a lot of people are having problems with washing their hands, okay, and because they're having problems with washing their hands, the issue can be the transmitting of these items. So let me give you an example, okay? I'm going to do an experiment, okay, so you can kind of see the problem that's exhibited, okay? So for instance, and as a scientist, I'm not going to reveal everything I'm showing y'all, okay? So let's say, for instance, you have this little solution right here, okay? Let's just pretend like this is person A. And over here, we're going to use person B. We're going to have person B. Okay. I'm going to use, for the sake of this experiment, different colored caps so you all can see the differences between the two. Okay. So person B has the red cap. Person A has the green cap. Okay. So let me show you what tends to happen. Hold tight, hold tight. Okay, so if person A, okay, right here, happens to go to the doctor and says, oh, I'm sick, my nose is running, I feel like I have the coronavirus because my nose is running, I'm having a hard time breathing. Well, unless they have some medical issues, the doctor's going to ask them a series of questions like, do you have asthma? Do you have bronchitis? Like, what other medical conditions do you have? They're going to also consider the age of the patient as well to make sure that the person isn't just, being a hypochondriac. So if you have patient A, okay, who happens to go to the doctor and says that they're sick and they're feeling some kind of a way, the doctor's going to take swabs from their nose and potentially from their mouth, and they're going to check to see if the patient doesn't have like some type of bacterial or viral infection. So right now in this test tube, I'm going to add just a little indicator to see what this patient may potentially have. Okay. If it stays clear, the patient is okay. They do not have, let's say, the coronavirus in this particular case. Okay. So here we go right here. So I add a drop of my indicator to see whether or not this patient is ill with the coronavirus. Okay. The doctor comes back and tells them you're good. There's no need to panic. You're fine. It's clear. Now, let's see if you have the other patient who says, well, I'm having similar symptoms, but I was also in contact with somebody who I think had it. Okay. Let's see if this person is okay. Now, again, if it turns colors, that person potentially has it. Now, one problem that the doctors mentioned also was that some of those tests that they were sending over here, the coronavirus tests, that some of them were rendering false positives. That's a problem. And the thing is, the doctor that was on there said 47% was false positive. That's not good to say that all these test results are bad. False positives. Okay. Let's see what this patient renders. This one did turn colors. So this patient will be considered potential for having the coronavirus. Now, you know it takes 14 days to go through your system to make sure you're A-okay. However, for some people, they may be showing symptoms right away, and as a result, patient A is okay, patient B is not okay. But now let's switch this around a little bit, and I'm going to actually show you something else that tends to happen. Okay? I'm going to give you another example where these two patients get together unknowingly. Okay? Unknowingly. So again, let me show you patient A. Okay? This is patient A right here, okay? And patient B. Okay. Here's patient B. Here's patient A. All right. The two of them are going to talk to each other. They're going to commingle together. They're going to do all kind of things. They're going to be sitting in the house together. They're going to go out together. They went to the beach together. They did all kinds of things together. Now let's watch what happens when they exchange air fluids. Perhaps they were sneezing, not knowing anything. They were at each other's houses, sitting around watching Netflix. They were Netflixing and chilling. Then they decided to bring over some more friends. Okay? Let's show you what happens when just the two of them getting together, not knowing what happened. Didn't even know they had it. If it changed colors, again, you know what's going to happen. They go to the doctor. Both of them go to the doctor. Here we go. And what did you all see? It changed colors. Okay? So this is the reason why people are getting sick. Because they're around people that they don't even know may potentially have something. And this doesn't go just for coronavirus, y'all. We're talking about corona and other things that can transfer due to bodily fluids. So if somebody sneezes, achoo, that sneeze can go out into the environment, into your atmosphere at the speed of the car, 75 miles per hour. So when someone sneezes, it can go 10 feet or more. So some of these scientists have been saying that it's been lingering in the air, and it can linger for up to 3 hours in the air. And I'm like, okay, so at this point, we now got to get masked up. So I love being out in the environment, but if you're going to go out, you do need to make sure that you're wearing a mask, okay? I've seen a lot of people making masks online with different materials, but are those materials safe? I don't know, okay? I don't know. But I happen to have these stashed away from something else, and I found them cleaning up, because it's the time of year that we're cleaning up now. You have time. And I found these, and I don't think these are actually it says N95. Okay. Well, let me show y'all right here. I don't know if y'all can see that. Okay. These are 3M. So if I go out and I want to observe nature in the park, I'm going to be masked up. Okay, I'm not playing with these people, but I'm not going to stress myself either. See, that's the thing I think a lot of people are going through. They're stressing themselves unnecessarily. So I'm telling you, the kids now, make sure you wash your hands, but also more importantly, guys, you cannot get uptight. Now, I want to show y'all something else too about that. This is the light that I show kids. Last year, I did an experiment, and I showed the kids how this light detects bacteria in your home. Okay? This is a black light. Now, if I turn the lights off here, you're not going to really be able to see it because it's still too bright because of the natural light coming in from the windows. But this black light is something that I've used before to determine if you can see bacteria. Okay. And let me tell you the sad thing about this black light is that it can pick up anything around your home. So if you have a pet who may have, did something in your home and you don't know about it, you can see that. But I want you all to understand that even this, okay, can detect certain things, bodily fluids. If you go to a hotel and you want to stay in a hotel, in the bed, it can detect bodily fluids, germs. This is a powerful black light. I've had this for years now because I often show this to kids when I tell them to wash their hands and they come back. And I always tell them, if your hands are dirty, you're not getting a prize at the end of my program. And you'd be surprised at those kids who just go in the bathroom, do this. They go in, put water, and come on out. They didn't even scrub their hands. And kids are woof. So you got to make sure that you protect guard your home, protect yourself. But I don't want anyone to be nervous and scared. Okay. And what I mean by that is because being scared all the time, frantic, watching the news 24/7 can actually lower your immune system. And if it lowers your immune system, you know that those are issues that can actually say, come on, Corona, come to me. Come on, flu, come to me. Come on, cold, come to me. So if you're going through anything at all, your body will actually take you through what you're trying to do. So if you do not, exactly, it weakens you. You're absolutely right. It weakens you. And so you got to be aware of what you're taking into your body and make sure that you do not overanalyze. Well, okay, so that face mask that I got that a couple years ago. My daughter was volunteering at a animal shelter, and we had to clean up the rabbit cage, and those rabbits produce a lot of fur, and it stunk in there. So I pretty much kept those from that time. So this is like 2 years ago that I had those. But here's the issue, though. Even with these masks. And I hate to say it, but if they're telling you that these masks are coming from certain countries, be aware, okay? Because some of these doctors have been saying that these masks that they're making up in mass production aren't good, and that's scary. That's scary. Now that part is scary, okay? So if the box says made in, you might want to be cautious. Now, so, like I said before, some people are making their own masks. I know as a runner, let me see here. I used to have a runner's mask because I had exercise-induced asthma. And so whenever I would go out in the cold, when the weather was cold, my lungs would be fighting me. And I would have to take in warm air because if I was sucking in that cold air, my lungs would acerbate and get irritated, and then I would start to wheeze. So I bought a runner's mask, and it would cover your face up, and it had like little holes there. Now, that's not good to have those holes if you're talking about keeping away some of the things that lay in the environment. But as a runner, you're sucking in so much air, you want to be very careful if you're going to be outside going in and out. In and out of breathing. And also because of pollen season too. A lot of men and women have used masks because of pollen. Because now pollen season is coming through and so many people are going to be nervous about the pollen season now. So again, we got to be very careful where we are, but more importantly, not to overthink it. Okay. So does anybody have any questions for me? I just wanted to kind of do like a little quick experiment to show how these germs actually, and bacterial infections and viral infections actually come around. So again, when people sneezing and coughing and touching things, it can lay on the surface. That's the bad part. It can lay on the surface. So does anybody have any questions for me before we end our discussion today? Oh, yes. Yes. Well, it wasn't quite water. It was something else. As a chemist, we like to keep things like, whoa, what did she use? But the experiment that I did do, matter of fact, I'm glad you said that. Let me show you something else since you said that part. So, so let's say that these two, again, the infected person gets with the person that's not infected. Let's see what happens when they get together. Okay? Now, you just saw that. The coronavirus doesn't go away. The flu doesn't go away. It just simply means that, hey, you never know what can happen if you just do the right thing to your body by drinking a lot of water. Okay? So I might reveal my little secrets at a later time, but I just want you guys to continue to drink your water. The rumor about water, though, let's talk about water for a moment. A lot of people are saying, oh, if I drink all this water, I'm going to be good. I'm going to rinse the virus down. It's going to eat away at my toxic stomach because I have hydrochloric acid in my stomach. That's not true. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not true. You don't just rinse the coronavirus out of your body by drinking a lot of water, warm water, salt water. If a virus gets into your body, okay, into your mouth or in your eyes, okay, you need to start wearing shades too, by the way, okay, when you're going out, because those little microorganisms, again, if they're in the air, people are sick. Shades, safety goggles, anything that's going to protect your eyes, now is a good time to start wearing them. And even in your hair, okay? Right. Yes. So you're correct, though, about keeping yourself hydrated. Yes, because it does make your body function better. You're absolutely right about that. I want to point out, too, that if you stay hydrated, be very aware of the fact that you can put lemons in it. So that's where you're getting your vitamin C. Limes, pineapples, grapefruit, all of your citrusy fruits are good for you right about now. Now, people have been putting these things out on social media talking about you can just take a certain amount of vitamin C. Be careful, because too much vitamin C can do a lot of damage to your body. Now, vitamin C is water soluble. That means as soon as you take it, it comes right out. But too much can be a negative thing too, okay? So you want to be careful even taking too much vitamin C in terms of the pill form. Now is not the time to re-up on that. Now, the question is, how much water should you drink a day? Half your body size in ounces. So let's say you weigh 200 pounds. Then a person that weighs 200 pounds should drink about 100 ounces of water. For kids, I always say if you can get at least 64 ounces of water in, 48 to 64 ounces of water, you're good. But I know a lot of children may be a little, more healthier, okay, a little bit more buffed. So for our kids, I would just say if you can get the minimum of 8 glasses of water, then they're good. They're doing good. Now, if you're pregnant, should you drink more? Well, again, if you're going by your body weight, okay, as a pregnant woman, you're probably not going to drink too much water. I mean, meaning, let me say this. So if a pregnant woman weighs, let's say 150 pounds, and then throughout her pregnancy, she gains 30 pounds, therefore raising her weight to like 180 pounds, it's okay to drink a little tad bit more water because, the nutrition that you're taking in from your body is going directly to your baby. So in that particular case, mothers always need to do more than what the regular woman is doing for their body, for their well-being. A lot of people are talking about, should they, start taking a lot of vitamins? Well, again, my thing about taking a lot of vitamins is this. Take it according to your body weight and size. What works for me may not work for you. A lot of times People tend to take the word of what they see on social media as the gospel. And I just want to take you guys to be aware of that, because so many people are putting out negative things, and that's not necessarily something that you would want to listen to and heed to. So just be careful with what you're listening to on these social media streets, because people be lying to you, okay, unless you know that they're a credible source. But you just want to be very careful. You want to re-up on your vitamin D naturally. When I was in grad school, I did research for me. I did it on vitamin D, because so many people around this time of year are lacking vitamin D. And that's right, they are lying. You're right. So many people lack vitamin D, but you can go outside naturally and activate your vitamin D. However, the less melanin that you have in your body, the more you're going to have to stay outside. And this whole thing about using sunscreen, I'm against that personally, because sunscreen blocks the melanin. It blocks the vitamin D from penetrating, the sunlight from penetrating through your skin, okay, through the cells. Now, the melanin is not necessarily based on your skin. Well, okay, let me slow down a minute. The melanin that each of us has, everybody has melanin. Fruits and veggies have melanin. But the less your pigment is, the less melanin that you have. However, you can go outside and naturally re-up your vitamin D. So, do you want to sit outside naked? Not necessarily. Unless you're in a neighborhood that, you're kind of like in close quarters where nobody's going to be looking at you. But you do want to make sure that you go outside. Touch Mother Earth. I mentioned this yesterday. You want to walk on the earth. Get your feet on the earth, because it releases those negative ions in your body. Okay? We all have ions in our system, but you want to release that. Okay? You want to release that. So, exactly, Kim, sunscreen has more harmful chemicals than regular lotion. You got that right. That part. Now, if you are going to use sunscreen, make your own. And they have products out there that you can use to do that. Okay? Yes, you. I can't pronounce your name, but Ashiz, I think that's what it is. Yeah, you do want to go outside in the backyard and just chill. Like, this is the time where I would say, if I wanted to get in touch with Mother Earth now is the time. I would go out in the back, your backyard, and just sit out there and 20 minutes minimally. 20 minutes. But of course, people that because there are even light-skinned black people too, African-American people, light-skinned people who also may burn easily, but that's okay. Well, and again, when I say that's okay, I'm not talking about, burn outside in the sunlight and then just take the pain. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying go outside and inhale Mother Nature. Inhale Mother Nature. Now is the time. That's how you're going to get your vitamin D up. That's right. Barefoot, connect to the universe. Exactly. You are right about that. Yeah, and see, let me tell you, even with those vitamin D pills that people are taking, I mean, they're having to take a lot. And I've heard people have vitamin D deficiencies. But here's the thing, too. You can get vitamin D from collard greens. If you don't like collard greens, well, you can get it from that, okay? You can get vitamin D. If you eat fish, you can get it from salmon. Omega-3 pill tablets, if you want to go and buy some omega-3s. The food, yes. But you can eat a lot. Yes, kale. Yes. Most of your dark green vegetables are high doses amounts of vitamin D. So your kale, your broccoli also. I know some people don't like the taste of some of these vegetables, but if you want to enhance your vitamin D intake, that would be something that I would recommend that you do take. Yes. So, I'm glad you all were able to hop on. And if you have questions, guys, just DM me and let me know. I know IG is going to go out shortly because, they don't give you much time on live. But yes, eat you some collard greens. And that's a good source of vitamin D. Collard. Now, again, if you eat dairy, cheese is okay. Oh, thank you. If you eat dairy, cheese is okay, but again, you gotta be careful even eating too much cheese because cheese can cause constipation. Okay, constipation. Thank you, the CEO Mama. Thank you so much, and thank you too, Kim. And Facebook, I just went out over here. I'm sorry, I did not charge up my computer, so it went down. I'm sorry, y'all. But at any rate, I'm going to be coming on Wednesdays and Fridays, okay? I'm still trying to work out the time in terms of what time I want to go on. I don't know if the evening time would be better for you. I know we did the Jeopardy game on Wednesday night, and a lot of people enjoyed that. And if you didn't see it, thank you, the STEM girls. Thank you. If you did not see it, it is online on Facebook. IG doesn't keep stuff up for so long. And I'm going to put this on my YouTube channel too, so you guys can kind of go back and look at it too. But I really appreciate you guys for logging on with me today. And if you have questions, like I said, let me know. Yes. So I'm going to work out the kinks in terms of the time that we're going to get on board. But again, don't let this be you, okay? You want to be this and not that, okay? Okay, so thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I appreciate you guys, and I will see you all again next Wednesday. So stay tuned. Stay tuned.
When you take this somewhere and dispose it, you should take it far away from your house, like at a park or something where no one is, and just dispose it there.
Oh, I'm going to get rid of it for sure.
Not in your backyard, right?
No, not in my backyard.